for some input on this, and for good reason, and legal counsel, we have refrained from doing so up to this point. So at this point, I want to let the public understand why decisions were made and why we moved forward in the directions that we did. In the changing the locks at City Hall, no one could tell me who had keys and for how long they'd had them. There was no register of keys, and I collected the keys that individuals had at the time and replacing the new. We have confidential and proprietary information in cache within City Hall. It should not be have unfettered access. That's not being responsible. And so that's when we moved forward and decided to make the decision to have the locks changed. At this time, I haven't issued a statement of the keys that were created for City Hall. We have to City Hall the main access of a total of 12 keys. The city clerk's office, there are 2. The mayor's office, there are 2. In the computer room, there are 4. City Hall issued keys are to Deb Weston, myself, Mayor Bingham, and Dave DeRee. City clerk office keys are to Deb Weston and myself. Mayor's office is myself and Deb Weston, and the computer room is myself and Deb Weston. Since the reinstatement last week of Donna Wixon, she has had keys made to the building and issued a number of those. I am not sure who she's issued those to. I know that the keys that were made, they're not to be copied, so they have been, and I have no idea who has those keys or where they are at this time. And I realized a typo on this, so you'll have to excuse me. So I have this, if you would like it, if the public would like access to this, I'd like you to have that as well. At this time, I'm also turning over the additional keys outside of the ones that have been issued, and that way there is no question or concern regarding that. The resolution finding Debbie Weston as being unqualified by reason of her lack of administrative experience after 18 years in the city clerk's office is perfectly absurd and unfounded, especially considering it was with a fill-in-the-blank resolution, which I found rather interesting. I appointed her in good faith. I question the good faith of the 6 people who refused to approve her when they come to the city council meeting with fill-in-the-blank resolutions that my appointee is unqualified by reason of lack of administrative experience. In refusal to appoint Donna Wixon, again, I want to make note that their appointments, once you open yourself up for reasons as to why not to appoint, you do open yourself as well as the city up to specific liabilities. And so per our city attorney's request and my personal attorney's request, that is why it's taken us almost 4 weeks to move forward with this. Refusal to cooperate with me as mayor and to provide responses to legitimate inquiries. I've determined that for a period of more than 2 years, Donna Wixon does not pay for some or all of her cable TV and internet services. After publicly stating in a council meeting that no city employee receives free cable or internet, I discovered an effort to cover up the fact she received free services from a utility that was struggling to service its debt obligations on the upgrade. Free services that were hid from our own auditor until last week when the cat was out of the bag, literally. So I did visit with our auditor regarding that. He's aware of this. She has said in front of the open council that no employee of the city, including herself, receives any type of utility services, and then now has gone back to the auditor and expressed that yes, she had been. And so we have a little discrepancy there in the truth. Asked for record of authorization by the council. Nothing was produced. This is entirely inappropriate and will not be tolerated while I am mayor. Mrs. Wixon is on administrative leave and will not act as city clerk so long as she is on administrative leave for these highly questionable practices. Yes.
You expanded that Debbie Weston was unqualified. Would you explain to the members the 2 words that have to be used by the governing handbook? You expressed that she's unqualified and that was absurd.
I didn't express that.
Would you explain to the members the reason why we have to use that word unqualified? You can read it right out of the book, it's right there.
You have to prove them either unfit or unqualified.
Okay. Read it right out of your book.
No, I'm not going to open that up for this discussion right now. you also know why you have to prove somebody unqualified.
The word prove
Don't have to
is
prove
not in
anything.
there.
That's right. We have to have that opinion.
The word prove is not in there. If the governing body doesn't accept the mayor's appointments, a resolution has to be created. There has to be a finding of either the person's unqualified or unfit to hold that office. We chose to use the word unqualified. That's the only two choices we have. For the mayor to expand out and say that Debbie's unqualified after 13, 18 years, I agree with her. She has her choice. The mayor also needs to explain why that she chose Debbie as her fourth selection and not her first selection.
She was not my fourth selection,
She
I'm
was your
sorry.
fourth selection.
No, she was not, Councilman Allen. No, she was most definitely not. She was actually my first, and there were some issues with that.
Oh, my God. Oh, my.
Well, can they state to us why they feel like she is unqualified when she has worked here in this office this whole time? I mean, and has to, whenever Donna's taken vacations or whatever, she's had to take into those in the office and do the work. So how does that make her unqualified? I'm asking any of the six that you guys did the resolution.
An ordinance to prove somebody unqualified.
I agree that
I'm
Debbie is
thinking
more
that-
qualified if there was another situation where a city clerk's position was coming available.
Gary, I'm holding an attorney general opinion that says you don't have to articulate a basis. Once again, you don't have to prove
Hold on,
anything.
Hold on. We've been recognized by the chair.
That's fine.
The council members are discussing it.
Unless she
I'm
wants to
aware of the
jump
attorney
around that.
general's opinion.
All right.
Just,
The mayor's using the word prove, that's not in the governing handbook, you don't have to prove. So the mayor either has to accept her statement and the
I will not be correcting my statement, Councilman Allen.
But in the
Stand by
book,
what
it
I
says
said.
that you're saying unqualified. What's the qualifications that she has to have for you to approve it?
What's the purpose of this ordinance if it is not to prove this? Don't you think that you're opening yourself up for liability?
I would
You
like to
call me
answer-
unqualified and I'm gonna come
I
after
would
you.
like to answer her question if you would want to answer your second.
Thank you, Councilman Allen.
Mrs. Day, you asked why we can state that in the governing book.
In the book, it says the word
That's the only two
unqualified, so
choices
I'm
that we
asking
have.
what your qualifications are then, apparently, if you're stating that she is unqualified. Going by the guidelines of the book,
I don't know.
so what is your qualifications then?
I don't have to-
Considering that
I don't
she was
know.
unqualified, and that you guys voted against her being qualified.
I don't have any qualifications that Debbie is not qualified to be city clerk. If the
But you're
position.
passing an
elected-
ordinance that says she is.
If the situation was different and Mrs. Weston come up for selection, I think she would be a very viable
But
candidate.
she is up for selection.
She did come up with, from selection, and you guys still voted against it. So
But that's-
tell me why she's unqualified, that's what I'm
That's the
asking.
opinion we can have. Just
Well,
like you
I-
have the opinion you think.
Right, I understand that, I'm just
There doesn't
asking,
need to be a
what
reason.
is your
The
qualifications
reason
for,
is
for them?
it's not broke.
Because we have a city clerk that is qualified.
Well, apparently, it is
Whoa,
broke.
One at a time. Everybody talking this
Do you
will
have
not
proof of
work.
that?
Everybody talking this
Do
won't
you?
work.
Michelle has a floor.
Are you questioning whether we would bring a
I'm
statement
asking
like
you.
this to the community if we did not? Thank you.
We're
You
beating
answered
a
your
dead horse
question.
here, can you move on to your next statement? We're not gonna settle anything on that, so.
I have asked you to address the mayor.
I mean, you answered her question, we had two choices, we chose unqualified, that's the answer, move on to something else.
Robert knows the answer, why we, can we do that?
You have to do the unfit or unqualified.
And that's it, stop there.
That's it,
Correct?
in the
Unfit or
state
unqualified.
statement, and no.
And stop there.
No.
But it's also on a good faith measure as well, and I'm trying to understand where the good faith comes into a fill-in-the-blank resolution.
Well, unfortunately,
With the
personnel
person that's
issues,
worked
we
within
can't
the city for
expand
18
like.
years as assistant,
One at a time.
with a person that has worked within the city for 18 years as assistant city clerk, where is the good faith in a fill-in-the-blank resolution? Mike, I'm addressing you.
I'm not up here for faith,
No.
okay? I'm up here to do business.
No, it is, it says in there
I'm up
it's
here to
good
do
faith.
business for the city.
Good, on good faith.
And I did what
On
I
good
felt like I
faith.
should do for the city, okay?
So we
Robert
should
knows
act
he
in
answered
good
the
faith.
question for you if you listen. He knows. There's only two answers. Gary's mentioned that we can give. These are personnel issues. We can't just take off running with the ball on personnel issues, and you know that. So don't ask me any more questions like that.
Should we be in
He's answered the
executive
question.
session when we talk about
I
personnel?
think we
anyway?
should be in
There
executive
are
session.
6 people up here that made a decision based on what they thought was best for the city of Baxter Springs. Those 6 people have
That's
sat
right.
on this council
That's
for
right.
a combined 15 to 20 years. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's right.
You know, how much have your taxes raised? How much did they raise this year? Does anybody know that? In the city of Baxter Springs? How much? There's complaints about salary, there's complaints about this. How much did it raise this year? Can somebody tell me that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Not in the city of Baxter Springs. It's the only entity in the county that did not raise it. You understand that?
Baxter Springs is
But how
cheapest
much
place
have
to
we
live
cut?
in South Louisiana.
But how much have we cut?
Hold on, one at a time. Everybody can't talk at once, one at a
The
time.
entire governing
We
body
provided
has our
services. Do you know that these department heads that are in question, and as well as Jimmy and everybody else, last year it got tight at the end of the budget, really tight. And we said to them, you gotta hunker it down, because it's getting tight, fuel's expensive, everything's went up. Do you know what they did? They came in $110,000 under budget. Do you understand that? That saves your taxes this year. That. Does anybody know the number? But that includes the department heads in question. Do you wanna know why we're voting that way? That's why. Now, there may be problems, I'm sure everybody gets issues. You're not gonna have those positions without rubbing a few folks the wrong way. But the thing is when it comes down to doing the job, they do it, and that's why I voted the way I did. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's a true story. And I'm pretty sure that's why these 6 people voted. I'm not gonna speak for them, I'm gonna speak for me, and I've done it, so.
I would like to make a motion if we got any more personnel issues, we go in executive session and talk about our personnel issue. That personnel issue, you don't talk personnel to anybody else other than in here.
We
That's
haven't
where
made
it's
any
gonna take.
violations as to that, and I want the public to know what we're
I want the public to
talking
know a lot
about.
of things too, Jennifer, but you know,
Then I
it's
think
just,
that's
I
why we
think
have, we
personnel
don't go into
needs to be
executive
talked.
session unless it's required.
Talk personnel is in executive session.
There is no violation of personnel. No.
You mentioned about Mrs. Whitson having free cable. Would you explain to the general public again the time when that cable service was created and why it was created that way?
No, I sure can't, because it would be.
During the time the city of Baxter Springs was doing a upgrade on their cable, when we kicked it on, became live, there were issues with the cable service. Our cable technician lives outside of Columbus, Kansas.
And the internet, both.
And the internet. So we needed somebody locally that could, on the weekends, at night, we needed somebody that could, when there was a problem, somebody got a phone call, we needed somebody that could look at those issues and see what needed to be done without having to call in our cable tech who lives outside of Columbus.
When did the governing body approve that, Councilman Allen?
Nobody that I know of on the governing body approved that.
Okay,
And that's-
so
That
we have
was-
an employee within the city receiving free services, but the council never approved it.
That's going-
As
that was
well
a
as.
consensus of the council
in a
No,
work
Mr.
session.
St. Clair, I'm not gonna go into executive session for this.
Mr. Myers, what's their legal right here when we start
Why,
talking about personnel?
why were there late
issues?
charges removed? Why was there tampering with the account?
I
Why?
believe we
If this
move
was
into
legitimate,
executive
why
session.
was
I
there
second it.
tampering of the
Mr. Myers,
account?
Mr. Myers, I'm asking.
Hold on, one at a time. You got a motion from Mr. Steele, which was,
We move into
We
executive
expected
session.
this fully.
I second it.
How long do you wanna go into executive session?
For all any personnel issues?
How long?
you got a designated time.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
How long can you find out?